Hello, 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 everybody. How is it going this wonderful Wednesday afternoon? Hope everyone is having a great one. Welcome back to another episode of our DC TV not after party, that owned by someone else, but DC TV after show. Hope everyone is having a great one. I am here once again joined by the wonderful, amazing, fantastic 3Dubs Productions. How's it going, buddy?
Going pretty good.
Great to have you back once again for new episodes of Superman and Lois and Gotham Knights. We're here first off to start off the nights with Superman and Lois Season 3, Episode 3, titled In Cold Blood. But again, if you guys have not seen this brand new episode of the show, if you've not just kind of jumped right on and watched it after it has aired, go away, because we will be talking about spoilers. Before we jump into the chat, we got a couple people saying hi. Just for Games, my brother, what is up, my man? We are up here. Yes, you are. We also have the Stranger and one Marvel fan saying hi. It's great to see all of you up in the party. So 3Dubs, as we're kind of just jumping right into this first episode, what was your kind of non-spoilerly thoughts on this first one?
On Superman and Lois.
Yes, Superman and Lois.
I would have to say a lot of the storyline was pretty predictable. I could tell before it happened, which was kind of like, yeah, I get it. It felt like Lois had a little PTSD, trying not to get help.
There's a lot of that this week, I think. There was a lot of...
I even knew the reason why she was the way she was, because I was like, she's feeling probably like she doesn't want to be weak, and seeing everyone trying to make her feel vulnerable, and she's not a character that is supposed to feel vulnerable.
Sure.
So it made a lot of sense.
I even liked it on the flip side, just kind of jumping into this episode. I loved seeing this in Clark, right? Like, this is kind of this secondhand PTSD. He's of course gone through, like, we talked about this in last week, but there's something really fun, I think, or not fun, definitely not fun, but there's definitely something kind of interesting about Superman. He can fly, he can do all these amazing things, he can save the world on countless occasions, but this is something he can't just punch. Right, this isn't something he can, we see in that early parts of the episode where he literally can't save Lois Lane. That's something he's always been able to do. If it's Lex Luthor or Ellie or whatever it is, he's always been able to save her, and now he suddenly can't do that. And yeah. I think that's a storyline that I am so excited to see this season. We've heard that this is going to be the main kind of plot line for the show, and I love it. I think I can't say it's not ever represented in shows and stuff, but I think cancer is something that can also, it's either not represented maybe well, or it's not represented, I don't know, at least not in superhero shows, right? I can't remember the last time where we had a cancer, I guess Deadpool, right? But real representation about cancer, and this doesn't seem to be a one and done. It seems like a whole arc for Lois this season. Do you think that's something that we're going to see throughout this entire season?
I really do hope there's going to be a scene in future episodes where Superman is in the fortress saying, I don't want to be the resident fire stopper, and trying to find a cure for humanity for cancer. The unbeatable thing that Superman can't control or defeat. He's trying to find a cure, just like the animation Superman Doomsday, where he actually in that movie he actually says, I don't want to be just the resident strongman.
Sure.
And he's trying to find a cure for cancer.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be Clark's arc this season, is going to be, I am all of these amazing things, but somehow I'm still not enough. right?
Yeah.
I can still be more, and it's hard to say, what this Clark has been through. Right? This is a new Earth. This is like a new continuity. We don't know what all this Clark has done. Like he hasn't done Crisis or whatever. So it is kind of interesting. I'm very curious. And I wonder if that leads into next season, because there's rumors of like maybe next season takes place in Metropolis. Maybe if it gets to season 4. And kind of seeing, I'm very curious to see how much Bruno is going to get in Clark's head, because I think he's going to need to, if this man is our big bad or kind of main force, he has to be able to get in Clark's head. He has to be able to almost attack Clark in a different way than someone like Allie would, right? He can't just kind of punch through all of his problems, because then it'd be over in like 2 episodes. So I am so kind of curious to see where we're going with Bruno. We didn't see Bruno this episode, but we saw his presence around, right? And one of the main plot lines was Lois and Chrissy kind of going off on their own adventure to look into this scientist that's working for Bruno. What did you think of just overall the Lois Lane and Chrissy stuff this week?
Christy was on fire. I liked her like strong-willed for Lois to get help, and she what she said, I was like, yeah, she needs to hear that. Lois needs to hear that.
Yeah, Chrissy's a character that typically I'm not I don't dislike Chrissy. I don't dislike anyone on the show. I think some have their ups and downs, like we saw this week, I think, and we'll definitely get into that. But I would argue that this was maybe one of Chrissy's better episodes, I think, of the show. I loved her. She felt very human, right? All of her emotions that she was feeling, like under the cape, like she is. Like she clearly loves Lois, right? Or not loves Lois, but like she has a deep connection to that character, and I think everything that she was saying and she was feeling, like we're in danger, and I want you to get help, and I think her pure just like frustration towards Lois and the situation felt very real, and what someone might be feeling, like, in these circumstances.
Sure.
Yeah, I absolutely loved her this week. Would you say this is her best episode?
Now I'm trying to think back for 2 seasons, so just to make sure. It's a close first.
Yeah. I honestly, I really liked her in season 1, and then I think it was season 2 that kind of made me a little iffy on her, where her arc kind of, like, it made sense, but also it wasn't my favorite. Although, and we're kind of jumping ahead here, but we do still got remnants of Lana and Kyle, and I'll kind of get that. We're already jumping all over the place, and that's fine. How are you feeling about this? It's been 2 weeks. This is our 3rd episode, kind of maybe hinting at that. Are you here for it, maybe? Are you here for that potential whatever is happening with them?
Lana and Kyle?
Yeah, or, I'm sorry, Chrissy and Kyle.
Oh, okay. I was like, no, what's... I argument. I was like, that's... For certain scenes, I would say that Lana versus Kyle, Lana won. In that instance, I felt more drawn to her, and Kyle felt jealous.
Sure.
He came off as jealous, so for me, that was in the wrong, because technically he cheated. So I don't have any sympathy for him.
Yeah, honestly, let's kind of just jump into that whole thing, because I can really tell that's going to be people's least favorite thing of the episode. And I'll be honest, it was mine too. And this is coming from someone who really likes... I love the cushions. Like, I think that they are a very important part of the show, and I do enjoy them most of the time. I do think it's episodes like this that are a little frustrating at times, but ultimately, I still think it all feels real. Like, it all feels like a real relationship stuff. So you were kind of more so Team Lana this week. And yeah, I think Lana's...
not Team Lana this week, just for the scene.
Okay.
There's
Fair.
another scene where she's in with her daughter, and I think
Yes.
her daughter was the right one.
Interesting. Interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. I I don't know. I think Lana with Kyle, it made sense. Like, I think everything she was upset about, I think Kyle's always a weird character, but I think him kind of coming in and trying to get dirt on Lana and what's going on is very frustrating. I also want to say that, like, divorce is tough for anybody. And I think, again, everything that these characters are having to go through feel real in their situations. I think Sarah rebelling makes sense. I think Lana and Kyle both feeling insecure about each other, potentially dating other people and what's going on in their lives. That's all real things, right? I grew up in that kind of home growing up, so I absolutely get it. Now, but I can definitely see the frustration on Twitter and everything where people are like, I don't like this because it's not a fun story to watch. It's not typically something that people want in their superhero shows, but so far I like it. Some scenes were hard for me to swallow.
I felt more sympathetic for Sarah during the whole talking with Lana. She you have to, being thrown into that situation that you have no control over, and you're supposed to accept it and kind of like from her mother's perspective to accept it and let it go and move on and stuff like that. She can't do that. She's just a kid. So trying to force her to be like okay and normal is just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, Lana definitely, and this is coming from
and losing her temper. She should have never lost her temper. Kids say horrible things, but you should never take it to heart.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming from someone who is clearly not a parent and who has never been in a divorce. I think sometimes moments like that happen, right? Like, there's moments where parents, guess what? They lose their temper. They're not perfect. And scenes like that, and as much as they suck, they do happen. I definitely think Lana handled the situation wrong. I mean, but again, parents do. Like, that's part of life. Parents handle things wrong. I'll be honest, though, I was very taken aback by Sarah's line about, there's a reason why Kyle cheated on you or Dad cheated on you. I was taken back by that. Like, that felt so unrealistically Sarah for me. And I know she's done stuff like that before, but that felt like a step.
She was
like, it felt too far.
From her, it was a comeback that didn't actually have she felt super angry at that time. So things, when you feel that, just blurt out.
No, sure.
It doesn't have to feel natural, or it doesn't have to feel like unrealistic. I would say something hurtful to my parents if I was grounded for something that is stupid.
I mean, I am in agreement with you that, like, I've said stuff to my parents and then I say it, I'm like, why would I say that? That's such a horrible thing to say, and I'll have to backtrack, and that definitely happens. I was just shocked in the moment, and like, there was a pure anger for me. It's like, that's a horrible thing to say, but you are definitely right.
And she's been holding on to this feeling for 2 weeks plus whatever the time jump from last season and this season.
Mm-hmm.
She's been holding on to in anger, and she had the not motivation, more like the trigger. The trigger happened when her mother was backing her up into the corner, so she let loose, and then and then her mother took it too far by slapping her.
Sure. Yeah, no, I think the slap also felt, again, very, unfortunately, it felt kind of real to me. Like, I felt like, oh, like, this is, and I love the instant, like, regret on her face, right? I love the instant, like, oh, man, I should not have done that.
Yeah.
again, I think we've all kind of been, maybe not all of us, but I think some of us have been in similar situations where stuff like this has happened. I will say though, like, would you agree that this was the worst part of this episode? Like, at least, like, the least kind of least interesting part?
Not necessarily. I would actually say uh,
The
I
kid
don't.
stuff?
I actually don't. I actually don't have a
Really interesting.
I thought they were all pretty interesting because
No, I
I'm a
really
doctor,
like this episode.
so I felt more drawn to Sarah than I was last week.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, I was like every single scene that she was in, like saw myself
Sure.
through that.
Sarah's a character that I have, like, defended for many years now. I have, like, she's a I love every character in the show. I think some characters have weak points. And I think that often does come from the Cushings. And Kyle's a weird one this season, man. I don't know where we're taking Kyle. And again, we talked about it a little bit ago. They kind of they've been setting up this Chrissy and Kyle thing, and to me, that feels they have chemistry so far, and it's not like it's not a bad relationship. But to me, it kind of feels like we don't know what to do with either of these characters, so let's put them together, and then they'll have something to do. And I don't know, it's fine so far. I'm not complaining about it, but it does kind of feel out of left field just a little bit.
For me, it's like it was a one night stand, so it didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel random. It was a one night stand. I mean, that happens in real life. You both feeling down, so what do you do?
Yeah.
What it also doesn't feel rushed to start having like them being friends and watching movies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I don't
how
think
relationships happen.
Sure. I don't think Chrissy wanted to watch a movie though. I think she had something else in mind.
I want to believe it. I don't want Luke Cage all over again. Where it's like,
yeah, no, I think
coffee. I don't drink coffee. Neither do I.
I think Chrissy had a really bad day and needed to relieve some stress, if you will.
She literally had a near-death experience, so it's
she did. She absolutely did. Again, Super Lois was really good. I agree. I am absolutely loving the season. I think it's been really good. So to kind of stroll back a little bit, we had Lois. Let's start at the beginning of the episode. Lois Lane. I love this opening. This might be one of my favorite openings to Super Lois ever. We have this montage of Lois going through all her friends and family, basically just a cast of the show, and telling everyone that she has cancer. And 30 seconds into the show, I'm already crying again.
I really wonder. I kind of teared up too because that was pretty emotional. I really wonder if they did the level of importance through the thing. Like apparently she thinks of Lana as more of a friend than Christy. As it was going down, because you would think that Lois would tell her best friend first.
Her best friend, as in Lana?
Whoever her best friend is, she would tell first. And apparently, Lana was the first. Lana and the Cushing family was the first. And then,
I mean, it could have just been stops, like they went through different stops throughout the day, and but they happened to all see Lana first, so they
scenes kind of actually have a lot of meaning. It tells a story, even though you don't actually hear it. It actually does tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
what got me though was Sam. I thought about it last week where I'm like, oh, I wonder how Sam's gonna react to all this. I did not expect the reaction he gave. And I think it helps that he is such he's that stronghold. He's always like straight and narrow. He never gets emotional, and he just broke down.
That's when I started tearing.
It was so good. Like I I love Sam. I mean, like, it's so easy to make Sam such an unlikable character. I think the show has done Sam amazingly. He is the unlikable force, but somehow they still make him so dang likable, and I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and we got a little a cameo of Lucy this episode, which I liked Lucy. I was wondering if they were going to somehow squeeze her in the season.
I hope they used her actual. I hope they used the actress.
It sounded like her.
I hope so. I couldn't tell. That's how. I was like, yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening really close because you hear the tone. So I knew that there was someone going to be on the other end of the line speaking to us as viewers.
Sure.
So I had that hunch as soon as they did the tone with calling. So I hope they used the actress.
Yeah, it sounded like it to me. I'm just glad that they were somehow able to include her. I hope we get to see her like full force sometime this season. I was wondering last season, I'm like, are they gonna try and make her like a series regular or something? And I don't know if I would have loved that, but it's definitely cool to see that she's still... How did we end her story last season? Did she go to jail? Or no, where is Lucy now?
She, apparently her dad drove her somewhere. It's been so long I don't actually remember, but they were in a car and drove her somewhere.
Sure, I hope she's at least in some kind of like, maybe not mental hospital, but some kind of like psychiatric care that can help her out and deal with the stuff from Allie. Because that woman has been through a lot. Marnie Moose. Hey Darren, how's it going tonight? I'm doing good. I started watching Gotham Knights earlier today, and it's okay. It's honestly the Court of Owls that's interesting. And I agree. I think they're definite, and we're going to talk about Court of Owls in a second, so we won't dive too far in. But Court of Owls are definitely my favorite part of the show so far. Would you agree?
I am reading Robert's comment.
Okay.
I have no idea. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I shouldn't.
Yeah, that it's directed at me.
I see. This could actually be the best season. I've been wondering if it might be my favorite season. It's way too early to tell. Do you think it has a chance of being out season 1 or season 2? I'm not sure which one's your favorite.
I actually no. Okay, I can't exactly say that my favorite season right now. Season 3 is looking to be the best, but scene-wise, there's certain. I think they upped their ante with Superman's badass moments. My favorite one is the fire one in the first episode, and the literally the sun absorption and smashing both Earths and separating them.
Yeah,
those are my top 2. But
interesting.
I can't.
Sorry, go ahead.
I can't say that my favorite season. So. It's looking to be season 3, but I can't say for sure.
Yeah, there's so many scenes from season 1 that I love so much. I mean, just like the whole intro to the show is great. That whole Backflash episode is so great. The like her grieving episode over like Natalie and the Steel episode. Like, there's so many great episodes in season 1. It would be very hard for it to beat, but if it keeps this up, I think it could. I just have to wait and see, because season 1 is in my top. If we're counting it among the like Arrowverse shows, it's in my top 5. Yeah. So yeah. Levi says it is a bit hard to watch this storyline. I'm not gonna lie, but I think I can manage to watch it. It is, and I think that's done on purpose. Like, it's supposed to be absolutely painful. Cancer is such a hard thing to go through, and I'm dealing with some stuff in my family currently that's, and it's a hard thing to go through. It's such a, and of course I've never had it myself, but it's super cool, not cool, but it's super interesting to see the effects on the family. And I think they did a really good job on this episode. The one of the final scenes this week when Lois finally goes to chemo and you just have all the family out there like supporting her and being like, hey, that's something we have to do. We have to go to chemo. Oh yeah, it was so good. And we're jumping all over the place. I'm so sorry, but one of Lois's story this week is she has to go to chemotherapy, and if it's a reason for her to go with Chrissy or whatever, there's been a reason for her to leave and not do it. And again, this storyline for me really really hurt. It hurt to watch. As someone who feels like I am so deeply connected to this character of Lois Lane, it's like I want you to get better. I want you to heal. I want you to help yourself. And just like everyone else in the show that want the same thing for her, what did you think of this whole thing? Of her not wanting to go or her like putting off going?
It was predictable. I literally called it before it actually happened. I was like, Superman's going to hear someone and she's going to sneak out. I was like, that was too predictable. And then the way that Chrissy's like, you use excuses and to leave, and yeah, it felt like I knew it was going to happen. It just felt,
I don't think that's a bad thing though. I think when you watch as much TV as we do, I think you're going to get that. Like, it's almost impossible to get new stuff. But it worked for me. Everything I think
easier when you watch like 200 TV shows. So.
Sure, everything worked for me. I think all the performances this week really elevated the episode to a whole nother level. And again, we talked about it a bit ago, but I think everything with Chrissy and Lois and them being stuck in that freezer of blood, which we'll talk about towards the end, was all just really really good. So let's move on to another topic of the week, and that was Jonathan and his girlfriend Candace and his missing truck. Now,
for me, it's a toss up between John Irons and this story being the weakest part of the episode. Now that I think about it, because all that John here and Irons did was set up cameras and force the plot of Kyle's story to go. And then the creepy vibe of her dad.
Man, he felt so mustache twirly, like what's up with your truck? How much was it? Like, it was so kind of weird. And we haven't met her dad before, right? We kind of just saw Candace. Yeah, no, that was kind of a weird subplot of the episode, and it seems like we are continuing it next week, so I'm very curious where it's all going to go. But how did you feel about this kind of... I don't know where we're taking Jonathan this season, because last week we're setting up the stuff with him and Eliza, now this week with him and Candace. Where's the end goal for Jonathan?
I think Jonathan is technically the Batman of this universe. Like, he's only there to grab the ladies. So I don't think Candace is the last woman he's going to date. I don't think there is a end game for him.
No, I just meant like end game as far as like where does he end up this season? Sorry.
Okay. So,
who's he gonna marry? No.
So for me, I would say his end game is looking to be kind of like in a way, he felt like he was a guy in the chair kind of situation where that's kind of the usual for superhero shows, where he gives Jordan and oh my goodness, can't believe I forgot her name.
Natalie?
Yeah, Natalie. Jordan and Natalie advice from a human's perspective. Like, he was like, can you just use your x-ray and stuff like that, and kind of like giving them ideas and stuff like that. So I think he's he's setting up to be like kind of like a I guess pretty much like a Batman character kind of. In the comics, the Superman's sons were Superboy, and then he adopted a guy who, from my understanding, was Batman-y.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm very curious where we're taking him because we've heard he's going to have like a weapons arc this season. And that's something we kind of teased in season 1, where he wanted his own steel suit. He wanted these weapons that almost got him killed. And I think he needs something. And, they said a couple weeks ago that each and every character is going to have a special arc this season. And I'm not sure if they will stick to that. But I think after last season, he does need that. He does need something special to carry him. He doesn't have powers like Nat or Clark or Jordan. And I don't want him to, personally. I think it's too much to have 3 Kryptonians in like one show. But
technically, they're 3 Kryptonians. Just one doesn't have powers.
Well, yeah, but I think having three characters like that plus 2 steals and some other kind of side characters, I think it can so easily turn into your Team Flash issue that people have had like with these Arrowverse shows.
And you're forgetting the other one that had, we had 15 Kryptonians, well, not 15 Kryptonians, but 15 possessed Kryptonians in season 1.
Sure. No, I mean just like on the team having powers and stuff. Like you can have villains and stuff like that. I just mean
Dude's got powers.
I just mean I don't want a Team Superman. Like I think and so far I think they've done a phenomenal job. Like you have 3 other characters with powers currently. I think 3. Natalie, Jonathan, and Jordan. And it still feels like the Superman show. Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, it's Superman and a team. It feels like it's just Superman. And I think they've done such a great job with that. Do you think that it's likely we'll get a season 4 of Superman and Lois? I'm feeling more positive about it. I'm getting the vibe that maybe they want to keep this show around. I'm still very nervous, though. I'm never going to trust the CW ever again.
I don't trust Nexstar.
I don't know.
I have stopped calling CW since
sure.
Nexstar bought it, because I'm now I'm putting putting the what is it? I'm putting the I just drew a blank. Well, I am technically putting the blame. There we go. Putting the blame on where it's needed, and that's Nexstar. I do not trust Nexstar. CW was always marked, the previous regiment, the previous leaders. When it was half CBS and CW, that was Warner Brothers. Half CBS and half Warner Brothers. That was the CW for me.
Yeah. Honestly, though, and of course, it's not a great thing that all those other shows got canceled, but have you noticed that they have started putting out, like they are actually, like, promoting these shows again? We're getting, like, previews again, and we're getting the, like, insiders, and, like, I feel like I've seen more promotion for these shows than I've seen since, like, season 4 of Flash.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. I hope it gets to season 4, though. I'm hopeful. I think getting rid of both Superman, Lois, and Walker would be dumb. Those are your current golden gooses, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Tao's coming back.
They said this season he will not be back, but he's always a part of their Superman and Lois family, and he can always come back in future seasons. Which, again, I'm glad. I think
unless it gets canceled.
Yeah. I don't see a role for Tal. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to click off. I don't see a role for Tal this season, unless it's like the season finale or something.
Yeah.
He would just kind of be standing around doing stuff. I don't think we need... Have him just be out there in the Mirrorverse? No.
He's Bizarre World.
Bizarre World. Thank you. And then he can always come back for mid-season premieres or finales or if we need an extra Kryptonian to lend a hand, we can just go get him instead of Supergirl. Levi said the combo of kids getting the truck back and the adults fighting the henchmen was the highlight for me. Were you hoping more of like a fight with the kids? I was somewhat kind of hoping that we would have got more of a... It was fun them stealing the truck.
They're humans. They didn't have powers, so it's like you said, it would have been over in 2 seconds.
That's true. I don't know. I was somewhat still hoping we could have got some kind of I don't know. It was still cool seeing all of them in their suits though.
They're not in suits. Only one was in the suit.
Well, that's true. We did see Steel back this week though, which was really nice. I love Steel. There's always a part of me that's sad when we don't get to see him suit up as Steel.
My favorite part of Steel is his when he draws on his armor in midair. That was always the badass moment for me.
Yeah. Oh, that was sick. Very Iron Man-y. I kind of wanted him to do that last week. I thought... Yeah, I was like, come on, just like pull it out of the air, but I guess it was too far away. So, and also I do want to mention, I have in my notes here, that man had like a freaking like Kryptonian like cannon, like a blaster. That was sick.
It was, I guess, Green K, kryptonite cannon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wonder if Lex made that, because those were Bruno's men, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it probably would have just been Bruno. And you know, we had revealed at the end of the episode that Bruno Mannheim somehow has Superman's blood. If he can get his blood, he can definitely get like kryptonite. So how do you think he got this blood? How do we think that he has attained it?
I have a feeling when he was passed out, they drew blood. When he was human,
at the end of season 2,
yeah, when he got drained by what's her name, Allie, when he got drained by Allie and was in the hospital, I bet they drew blood, and they sent and they stole it and then synthesized it and made more.
Yeah, I think that's probably the likely outcome. I'm curious what they have plans, if they're going to try and do more like Superman clones. I've had a theory this season that they might try and do like a cyborg Superman story. Do you think that's possible?
You mean the death of Superman, where a bunch of them come?
I don't think they'll do Death of Superman. I just think they'll use the character. I think Bruno Mannheim will come back. Like, I think they'll show that he's like still alive and he's like a cyborg Superman.
There are like 5 different Supermans in that movie, and they're all kind of clones.
Sure. That's I mean that's what we thought was happening last season. When they're like Doomsday and all that kind of stuff.
And since Lex is involved, we might actually get Connor.
Maybe. I would love Connor.
And maybe,
honestly,
or
go ahead.
I think if they wanted for since Jonathan doesn't have powers or whatnot, he's not inheriting his father's stuff, I think it would make sense to force him to have powers by literally Lex finding out that he has a son who doesn't have his powers, and then making him into Connor.
Yeah, honestly, they could rebrand Connor, make him like a villain.
Yeah.
That'd be really sick. And they said that if they get a potential season 4, they could have Lex as like a more recurring character. So it would make kind of sense. I would be very down.
And speaking of Jonathan, I felt Jordan Ellis's presence again when he screamed in the truck. I was like, that felt Jordan Ellis right there.
Maybe it's just because I don't think too much, but this recasting has not bothered me at all. Like, nope. There's very few moments where I'm like, oh yeah, that's not Jonathan. I'm just like, yeah, it's Jonathan. Like, I don't even think about it. No offense to that actor, I thought he was amazing, but I think he's doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I think he's literally acting like Jordan Ellis. That's literally his.
Sure.
From my perspective, to where it feels more natural. I think he was told to act like Jordan Ellis.
Yeah, no, it's not affecting me at all. Again, nothing against that actor. He did a great job, and I would have loved to have seen him continue in the show. I do wonder though. Do you think we're going to go down the bisexual Jonathan thing? I know that's been a topic of interest the past couple weeks.
I think they're not going to go that route
No.
Because it was just one comic, and that's not something that even Todd Helbing said he wasn't going to. So I'm going to choose to believe that.
That was also before this new actor.
I will also, I'll also be okay with it, but it's. I don't think it's going to happen because they haven't left they haven't like they did it with Sarah. They left the breadcrumbs that she's bi.
Yeah, but I don't think that's enough. I think they did the bare basics with Sarah. And the only reason I fully, and I think it'd be a very powerful story to tell if they did. I said no at first because obviously that actor was not comfortable with it. If that actor is not comfortable with having to like kiss a dude or whatever, then yeah, obviously don't do that story. That's dumb, right?
That's torture for the actor.
Yeah, no. Like what you have to make your actors comfortable. If they're not comfortable doing that, you don't do it. But I do wonder if like when they sent out that casting call, if they were like, if you're okay with like same-sex kiss or whatever, like I wonder if that's something that they could have set up for a potential, right? I don't need it to happen or anything. I don't think it's like how dare they not do this, right? But I think it's definitely a possibility. I think a lot of people were saying that like episode 1 like set it up. I was like, I don't think so. I mean episode 2. Like episode 2 set it up because he didn't kiss his ex-girlfriend. I'm like, no, he's just not an asshole. Like
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd be curious if they did go down that route. So far they're not, but I'd be curious. So 45 minutes in, do you have any kind of final thoughts on just this episode?
I will say I'm a huge fan of the Hour of the World shots. Mm-hmm. I love when they do that. It makes me think like he's like super powerful. He has great lungs because literally being in space in a vacuum is kind of like, yeah. So it's not you're distracting me. With the whole switch. But
I muted myself on accident. Oops. But if that's everything, we will get into the trailer for next week's episode. If you guys do not want to be spoiled on the promo for next week, you know what to do. We're starting the promo in 3, 2, 1.
No researching, no emailing. They is officially rested.
Who stole your truck?
What happened to your face?
You stay away from my family.
Do not bother your mother. Both of you stop. Told you to take it easy.
Wrong day for that.
And that's our promo for next week. Do you got any thoughts on this a promo for season 3, episode 4?
I will say that my thoughts on the dad were spot on. He's a creeper.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that we're continuing to see him. It kind of felt like this week it was going to kind of be like a one-off kind of plot line for Candace. It seems like he's going to be playing a bigger part, and it seems like next week we are kind of like continuing with this journey of Lois pushing herself further than she should. Very Flash season 3. And it makes me nervous because I wanna put Lois in a bubble. I want to protect her. Be like, you stay here until you feel better. But I don't think she'll listen to me or her family.
I honestly do not see the Flash season 3. I get the whole aspect of Iris was being stabbed by a kind of Barry, uh, time remnant Barry. She was getting stabbed by him. I just don't see the comparison with that.
Well, I think it's in the form of Iris not caring because her life is on the line, right? Like she's pushing herself to like get the story. Yeah, so the like comparison is Iris and Lois having similar storylines.
I'm like,
and
one got stabbed, the other one's fighting cancer. How is that comparing?
no, I think it's just like Lois kind of feeling more not careless, but more brave because she might, not make it or whatever. I don't want to say that, but like her life is I don't know, feeling more confident, I guess, in her actions and wanting to do as much in her life as she possibly can. There's some shots with like fire this week that I thought don't do that. I was wondering what was happening there. Like, looks like Clark is saving like a burning building or something. This shot, what do you think's happening here? That's Clark and Jordan saving some kind of fire.
No, it's actually Clark saying, "Go home. I got this."
Well, yeah, but I wonder what's happening here. Seems like the boys are causing trouble.
See, that creepy look. That's he irritates me. That one right there. That he should lose his daughter with that. His whole.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, that kind of goes into what Bruno Mannheim kind of means, right? Like, there's so many people that Superman hasn't saved. And,
no, I mean like that from what he's doing, stealing trucks. There's probably more that he's doing bad. That's technically cause for taking your kid out of a dangerous home. And he probably hit Jonathan.
Oh, do you think? And that's why Lois came up and be like, stay away from my son. Interesting.
And that's another reason why he should lose his daughter.
I don't disagree. But I wonder if it's going to tie into this larger story with, like, Bruno, where, like so many people are like, they obviously don't have, like, I would say him stealing the truck was because they didn't have money.
That looks like a trench coat. I have major flashbacks to Smallville now because I would think that Jordan his Type 1 suit, like his version 1 should be like a trench coat with an S on his chest with a white S and kind of dressing casually and being, I guess, cool, looking cool. So I would think that would be his first suit.
Do you think Jonathan or Jordan is going to get a suit this season, like a full-on Superboy?
Yes. I actually do think.
I'm excited. We haven't seen too many, like, this hasn't been a show that's needed a whole bunch of, like, super suits and stuff. So I'll be curious to see how, I mean, Superman suits always look great. The Steel suits look great, although there's not much to those. I'd be curious. I can imagine the Superboy suit looking really cool. Yeah, but if that's everything for Superman and Lois, we can move on to Gotham Knights. So we had, let me flip to my page real quick. I didn't write too many notes this week. I'll be honest. I kind of dozed off towards the end of this episode. We have Gotham Knights Season 1, Episode 3, titled Under Pressure. So what did you think of this episode of Gotham Knights?
It was under pressure. No, it was it was less, I guess. I didn't have a lot of questions.
Good night, stranger.
Of how they did things this time. The past 2 weeks, I'm like, I don't get why. How did they do this? How did they do that? What's the meaning of this? Why did she do that? Yeah, there was a bunch of questions the last two episodes that didn't necessarily happen in this episode. Probably during a rewatch, I might actually come up with a few. But this was a fairly actually decent meh.
I thought, again, I haven't had much issue with the season at all. Like, I think it's been solid. And I agree, Levi. I think this probably was the best episode, and I think simply because we're getting more time with these characters. And I think that was kind of my takeaway, that this episode was the first time where I'm like, oh yeah, I am kind of enjoying some of these side characters outside of just Jarella, and I think that's her name, Jarella and Harvey. Like so far they were kind of the only characters I was really gelling with. But this week I think this is very important because we really got to touch on characters that we haven't really seen before. Forgive me, I'm flipping to my character page because I have not caught these characters' names all the way through yet. I think Carrie, our Robin, I think this was easily her best episode. I think getting to see her kind of out in the field, it was the first time where I was like, oh yeah, I'm kind of vibing with this character.
She's one of my top 3 favorite characters, but this one felt like it wasn't. I didn't like it. Let's just say that. When there's a scene where she's up against this guy, I get very irritated when heroes take off their dang mask. Wait till the mission's over. It's secret identity 101. That guy knocked on the ground. It's not going to have any amnesia. If he does, that's another plot hole.
Sure. The fights were kind of weird this week. I thought the whole opening fight was not bad, but it felt very staged, which I get. I like the budget isn't the biggest. It didn't bother me. We've had much worse fights on these shows.
And her covering up that she had them, I'm like, I don't believe that.
Do you know? I'll be honest. I don't know much about the mutant gang. Are those characters that you know anything about?
I know they're DC Comics. They're actually from comics.
Yeah. I looked it up. They are from comics. I think they were maybe in Batman the Animated Series. I'll be honest. I'm not as fluent in the comics as probably 3Dubs are, and a lot of people on these platforms are. But I thought it was cool that they're pulling characters from comics. I thought they worked as like your basic kind of thug.
Yeah. Still, my top 3, top 4 character. I guess the only ones I like in the show are Duella, Carrie, what's her name? Stephanie Brown. And I also like Misha Collins. I guess.
Yes. Harvey Dent.
Who doesn't? Who's the 4th woman?
Duella?
No, I said she's
okay.
The first. I think it's the sister.
Harper?
Harper, yeah.
Okay.
I like those.
Yeah, no, I'm not disliking the characters. Levi said the main plot was a bit basic, but I thought the character stuff sold me. You know what? This episode reminded me a lot of like early Arrow, kind of, as far as the plot goes. Like this feels like a heist episode, not heist episode, but like a hostage episode. Arrow used to do that a lot, and it kind of gave me flashbacks to like season 1 of Arrow. Even season 1 of The Flash had like a hostage-esque like episode.
Definitely unique. I didn't have that.
Really?
I was thinking more like it felt predictable. Not predictable.
Yeah, it was very basic.
It was very like the characters have to be here to do this, so they have to force them to go there. That's why it felt like when it didn't take long for uh, um, Tanner Tanner Hayes Turner Hayes to convince Duella to go. Like,
Mhm.
some,
Sure, I would say that's probably a solid thing about the whole show so far. It does feel very like, okay, characters do this and then this and then this. It feels like a show, and it you don't kind of get sucked in as maybe you would on like a Flash or an Arrow. It is very kind of structured as if it's a show and not like pulling you into an actual show.
my favorite scene in the episode is actually when Duella says, I actually laughed my butt off at this one. Duella says, we don't go through the front door. Who does that? We go underneath and then pop out like in a cake, and like a stripper. And I just went like, so Batman is technically a stripper because he goes through ceilings. He never goes through the front door. I think you're muted. Or Darren? Darren. So this is a 3-dub takeover.
How long have I been muted, man?
For like 5 minutes.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
I've been talking, man.
I'm like, Darren, I think you're muted. Like, so this is a takeover?
I'm so sorry. I don't know how much I gotta recap. But no, I'm again, I think she's usually my favorite character, and I've heard a lot of people just say she's Dia Alice, and like they're right, but I'm still enjoying it. Like, Alice was one of my favorite characters in Batwoman, so maybe I just like that type of character. I like Harley Quinn.
Like
maybe
crazy.
That's just what's that?
I was like, I like crazy.
Yeah, I think I like her arc here. Maybe not an arc yet, but like her having to, like, she is clearly so messed up from having a Joker as a father. Like, I cannot imagine. Well, Joker wasn't part of his life, or like her life at all, right? He kind of just like dipped.
And I don't think Joker is actually her father. So
they said that he was.
I think that she doesn't actually know who the real father is. I think it's a red herring.
Oh, you think that she's like making it up? Interesting.
No. I think she believes that Joker's her dad, but I don't think Joker's her dad.
Interesting.
I think Harvey.
I wouldn't be against that. I suppose.
I think Harvey Dent is.
You think Harvey Dent?
Yep.
Why?
Because in the comics, Duella is a Dent, not whatever Joker's last name is.
Oh, I mean, I guess that's fair. I don't know, maybe. I like the idea of her being Joker's daughter, though. I mean, it's not like he was a father. Really, let's be honest, he's not her father. He's like a sperm donor. Like that's it.
Yeah, that's what, I have a feeling that.
Will that word get this stream blocked? It might.
I literally.
I probably shouldn't have said that.
I literally think that Harvey Dent had like some sort of connection with a woman and not realize that she got pregnant.
Maybe.
And I think that's what happened. Because Harvey Dent also implied that he is a good liar. He literally was talking to the guy's wife, and apparently they met before. And so I think, and they had like it felt a little romantic in the sense of I think they were a thing.
Sure. Robert, I agree with this, and that's kind of what I was trying to get at just a little bit. It feels like she is putting on a show because she kind of has to. Like, she feels like, again, she was in Arkham since she was little, or, like whatever, and it feels like maybe she has to pretend like she's crazy because she's the Joker's daughter, and she puts up her being crazy because she has to act tough around all these other people, and I've really enjoyed that so far. I'm wondering how long it's gonna last until she starts like melting her outer core. I mean, it already kind of feels like she's doing that just a little bit, but
Yeah, she's feeling more. I actually don't mind her and Turner Hayes having like a, I guess like a romantic thing. Um,
I think it could be incredibly fun having the daughter of Joker and then the son of Batman. Like that's something we've never seen before, and I'd be down for it.
I think it's still supposedly. I don't believe.
Yeah.
You know, I think because the Joker is dead and can't speak for himself, I think they're going to be like she's adopted. I think because she does hate the Joker. She does hate her dad. So what if it's not her actual dad and her real dad is Harvey Dent?
Yeah. Yeah, no, then it's definitely possible. And I assume we'll find out by the end of the season either way. But I am curious to see more from that character and kind of just where we go. Now we did place the question out, and we're getting kind of late, so I will try and kind of wrap this up pretty soon. But one of the main themes of this episode was, why didn't Bruce choose Turner to be Robin? Why didn't he bring him into this world? What's your kind of opinion on how they're handling Turner, and maybe why didn't he take him the same route that he would have took like a Dick Grayson or like a Jason Todd?
I kind of feel like it's a Alex Rider situation where he didn't know his father was a spy, or uncle was a spy, whatever. The guy who's taking care of him, but he was secretly training him by sending him to private schools, by teaching him fencing, by teaching him, like these things that you need to do to kick butt and defend yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think he secretly trained him.
Oh yeah.
Without him knowing.
Oh yeah, I mean he's an expert like fencer or whatever. It also feels like, and again, I'm not like an expert Batman comic reader. I haven't read too many Batman comics, a couple, but not too many. It feels like Turner, at least to this point, hasn't had a reason to become Robin. Like with Dick and all these characters, like they needed Robin. Like Robin almost saved them in like a way. Where Turner kind of just like a rich kid. Like he doesn't need, like he's had a pretty cushy life from the looks of it, outside of maybe not having a close relationship with his father. It seems like they've had a pretty I don't know, a good life, and then you have characters like Carrie, is that her name? Carrie, who's had more of a rough life. Like she didn't have a father, and she needed someone to like look up to, and that's why she's Robin. I do wonder, do you think the other Robins are like out there? Like, do we think that they'll never show them, right? But like, do you think that he had a Dick? Do you think he had a Jason?
I don't think so. What I think is Turner Hayes is drawing on Damian Wayne without actually being Damian Wayne, because his choice of weapon is a sword, and that's Damian Wayne's literal choice of weapon, because he was an assassin.
Mm-hmm. It does seem like a this hybrid of both Dick and Damian. Like it's it's Dick mixed with Damian,
but
and they
his
were boring.
Acting is bleh.
I don't blame him though, because this is literally his first acting job ever.
Yeah.
I think just like Ruby Rose, like by the end of the season, she got not good, but like she got a lot better. And I hope that from him. I hope
first Australian accent, but it wasn't her first job.
No. I'm just saying, like by the end of season 1, she became a lot better than she was at the beginning of the season.
It shouldn't take like 20 episodes for it to be likable, but I'm not like super attached to Turner Hayes.
No.
As I should be when watching the show.
Mm-hmm. Do you think in this universe this is why Batman killed the Joker? Because he killed Jason, maybe? I don't know. I mean, I don't love the idea of Batman killing. Like, I never have. But again, they have called this a like Elseworld story. Sorry. They have called this like an Elseworld story, and I guess that could be cool. Like, I think any major like comic book character they can push in here would be great. Like, I'd love to see some form of the like Joker. You know, I'd love to see Jason. Oh my gosh, Jason would be great. I don't think they're gonna dive into any of the big players though. At least in season 1. Maybe like as they go on, maybe they can slowly.
Oh wow, you're giving this series like a lot of hope for season 2.
I think they might, like, they've been promoting the show a lot. I could see it. It's in like the top 10 streamed shows currently.
The thing is, Nexstar only said there's 2 more slots open.
Mm-hmm.
So Walker, I can see as a done deal.
Sure.
Superman Lois, I can see as a done deal. Gotham Knights, not so much.
It depends. I could see them going back on this potentially. I don't know. I don't think they'll get a second season, but I'm not. I am going to talk about the show as if it is, just because that's how shows work. You know, like I'm going to talk about the like potential, like what comes next, instead of thinking like, oh, it might get canceled. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna talk like theorizing and stuff for the future. I don't know. I would like it to get a season 2. I think the more time, because I could see the show having a really mid first season and then turning, like, giving up Batwoman, and in season 2 is like, oh, this is actually like really good. Given more time and more stuff. So I hope it gets a season 2.
I hope it doesn't get a season 2 and cancel Superman and Lois.
Oh no, that would suck. I can see it though. Superman Lois is really expensive. Gotham Knights is not. I don't know.
That's why I'm like, it has to be the for like comparison. Would you choose Superman and Lois if you have no choice? Would you choose Superman and Lois or Gotham Knights?
Superman, 100%.
So yeah,
yeah, no. Although I would love Superman Lois on like HBO. Like, that would be the ideal. Because I don't want Superman Lois on like a $1 million budget.
I really, really hope that Superman, if they figure out they can move him to HBO, well, Max, if they can move that show over there, I'll be okay. So I won't care.
I think if anything can save this season, it'll be Harvey's turn to Two-Face. Do you think that's going to happen this season?
No.
I think it'll be a season 2 thing. I think they might tease it. I think they'll send the whole season teasing that maybe he's Two-Face, but I think like his actual like transformation into the character, maybe season 1 finale into season 2. They
didn't technically transform him into Two-Face with the Michael Keaton Batman, so he could just be the mayor.
Well, he teased that he's going to be Two-Face. He like showed the makeup and stuff.
Oh, so it's probably around the 13th episode then.
Yeah, I would say they tease it end of the season and going into next season. I'm very worried. I talked about this last week. CW has a trend of making one of their main characters a villain, but then keeping him around. Like, you got Malcolm Merlyn, and you have Killer Frost, and you have Alice, and you have Tobias Whale. I guess Tobias Whale's a little different, right?
One that's really stuck around for 9 years is Reverse Flash.
I think when they stay a villain, it's I don't have an issue when they, like, if they're still villains and they're still doing villainous stuff, that's fine. I think what the issue is, they want to give them a villain arc, but then they're like, oh wait, we like this character, so let's give them this like let's have him be part of our team and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I think that was kind of my issue with Mary. Like, I kind of wish she wouldn't have, like, I wish she was the villain and then kind of went away for a while. I feel like I think Harvey could be an issue going into like season 3 down the line. Like, if, you know, like, is Harvey Dent like cured, or is he like, you know, where do we take Harvey?
And how does he become Two-Face? Because his motive for being Two-Face is because Batman accidentally spilled acid on his face while trying to save him. that was the motive. Since Batman's not there, did the Court of Owls just crash the court session and accidentally spill acid on his face?
It could be. I have a theory that he is part of the Court of Owls. He just doesn't know it yet. Like, I think that split thing is already happening, and half of him is part of it, and the other half is not. My personal theory. I think they'll be revealed maybe halfway through the season or whatever.
It was like Edward Nygma in Gotham. Actually.
Yeah. Oh, Gotham. I missed. That was one heck of a show.
If that was the case, because he actually, had, what is it, multi-personality disorder?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, but do you have any final opinions on this episode of Gotham Knights?
I can give you my rating now.
Sure, go ahead.
It's actually 5 points above last episode, so we're at 6.
All right, 6 out of 10. I like it. I don't do many ratings. I think my overall thoughts, I thought it was an okay episode once again. Pretty fun. I like that we're diving more into the superhero side of a super... I like, Naomi, like, this has already done more than that show has ever done. So I do really appreciate that. It seems it's doing more than I thought the show would do, and I am somewhat enjoying it. 7.5 for me. I love to see it. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. So without further ado, I think we can get into the trailer for next week.
You think you can give me a crash course in lockpicking?
Oh, look at you, thinking like a criminal.
The hell are you doing in my father's house?
Looking for answers.
What do you know about the Court of Owls? Am I in danger?
Give me one good reason I shouldn't kill you right now.
Alright, that was the promo for Season 1, Episode 4. Do you got any thoughts on this trailer?
It still hasn't drawn me in. Still, I the only thing that's interesting is the Court of Owls, so it's not like it's not my ideal type of TV show, but it's
Sure.
still picking. I mean, it's like we only have 3 DC shows, so
Sure. There's a thing for me where, like, I am enjoying the show, as you guys might be able to tell. Like, I think I'm more positive on it than a lot of people have been. But I would prefer literally every other show over this one. Like, I would much prefer Stargirl Season 4, or Legends Season 7, or Batwoman Season 4, especially Batwoman. I'm so mad that like we could have literally done the story on Batwoman, and it could have been much better, I think, like, give the show, like, because this has a very, like, cinematic feel to it. Not like Superman and Lois, but it's definitely, like, an upgrade compared to, like, Batwoman and Flash. I think if you could have given that to, like, Batwoman, given them this really cool, like, Court of Owls type story, Season 4 could have slapped.
yeah. And it could have been a real conclusion.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we could have had that, like, the Court of Owls actually has Bruce Wayne or something, like,
Yeah.
It is very frustrating looking back on Batwoman, and we never got to, like, reveal what happened to Bruce. It's kind of just like, he's out there somewhere.
He's missing, he's either at the, well, he can't actually be at the, now that I think about it, he probably couldn't be, with the League of Assassins because they're all but disbanded.
Sure. Well, although they brought him back in Black Lightning Post Crisis.
Who?
So maybe the League.
The League?
Yeah, they brought him back in Black Lightning.
Season 4?
Yes, I think.
Okay.
Either 3 or 4. I think it's one of the two.
Truthfully speaking, I wasn't very drawn to Black Lightning Season 4 because of what they did to his friend. I watched the first episode.
Season 4 is terrible.
I did not watch the rest.
I'm still so upset what they did with that show. I mean, it wasn't bad, but like, I don't know. A show as good as Black Lightning deserved way better for the final season.
Yeah.
But that was our thoughts on both Superman Lois and Gotham Knights, the newest episode. I'm very excited to wrap up our kind of thoughts here. I do want to go back up and answer a question we didn't answer. A bit off topic, but expectations for tomorrow's Flash.
It will be better than 5-6 episodes previous.
I will be very shocked if this is not the best of the season.
I have a bold prediction that 7 onwards are good episodes.
I hope so. I need them to be. I need I need a good ending for this universe, for this show. I hate how negative I've been this season. This is my favorite show ever. And I've been so negative, and I don't want to be negative. I want
to be positive. Stay positive. Okay, I'm positive it's going to be negative.
We have, 6 episodes left, and the whole Arrowverse is over forever. And I hate that. And next week, we got some cool Supergirl stuff. Do you think there's a chance, I asked this yesterday, do you think there's a single chance we get anything Supergirl related? Like any kind of, face cam, FaceTiming thing? I have the 1% chance that maybe they got her to do a 30-second FaceTime cameo.
I kind of hope for it because that Barry and Kara have a chemistry since they're best friends just like Oliver is, but for them, Kara and Flash are kind of more best friends. They're more the way they set up the whole friendship with Barry and Kara in season 1 of Supergirl, of how he came on her Earth and stuff like that. The whole setup made them the bestest of friends throughout the years. Mm-hmm. So for her not to be in the final season, it's kind of she was in the final season of Arrow. It feels a little. I feel a little it's not unfair. It's unfair.
I mean, they have very different relationships. I think Barry and Oliver are brothers.
Yeah.
And best friends too, right? But Barry and Kara,
bromance. They're brothers.
Yeah, where Barry and Kara do feel kind of BFFs. Let's go do our nails and watch our favorite TV shows. They have.
Let's go on party.
Game night and Thanksgiving and wedding, like musical numbers. They're so much fun. I would die to have just a 30-second scene with Barry calling Kara. It can be low quality, right? She could film it, have her screen record it from her phone. Something to get her in here. We haven't seen them together in 3 years, and it hurts me so bad. I wish Barry could have been somewhere in the final season of Supergirl, but
I do hope they do mention this year, this episode, that she has outed herself as Supergirl.
Yeah. I think we'll get some Supergirl references for sure. I saw in the sneak peek that they did reference a couple people. I didn't watch the sneak peek because I kind of wanted to just enjoy it during the episode. But here there are some name drops tomorrow, which I'm very excited to talk about. Yeah, but I hope she's in there. Robert says tomorrow has Dreamer, and after that we get Ramsey, and then Oliver, and then Zoom, and so on and so on. There's so many cool characters coming in. And Wally? You forgot about Wally, Robert. How could you?
And the reason why Barry doesn't get invited to girls' brunches is because every time he goes out and parties, he gets drunk and says, "I'm the Flash."
I like to think I got a headcanon that Barry and Kara just hang out all the dang time. I imagine man goes to the movie night and game night and Thanksgiving and karaoke. That's kind of my headcanon. Did you mention Wally? I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I'm crazy excited for Ramsey Russo. Me too. I'm so excited for... I think he should have been the main villain for this first half. I legitimately think he should have been Red Death. I think that's my personal opinion.
He forgot Wally.
Oh, I did. Okay. I have made expectations for tomorrow's episode because I've been let down a lot this season. Fair, and that's great because if it's great, then you'll love it even more. I bitchered up that whole sentence, but if it's good, then you'll have a great night. Surprise Barry is invited to girls' brunches like that. Yeah. I guess they just kind of want the girls' night out every once in a while.
Barry would say, "I'm the Flash." Make it all about him.
Yeah, but no, I'm excited for these next 6 episodes, and I hope they wrap it up real good. So we got 2 more episodes, and then there's a break, right? There's a
Why
2
is there
hiatus.
so many dang breaks? It's the middle of summer.
Well, there hasn't been that many this season. There's been what? Like we'll have only had 2 hiatuses this year.
They shouldn't do a break because there's 13 episodes.
It's just how the cookie crumbles. They like to make their shows last. Hopefully there won't be one for Superman this season. Or I mean, I don't mind a couple.
At least
But
it's
like
not a month.
Since it, oh yeah, the last year was terrible. I can take like 2 or 3 breaks, but like last year was like every week there was a hiatus, and it was a mess.
Well, for me, it was understandable because they said yes for Tyler going on to Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. Mm-hmm.
So at least he got permission. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. But all right, one last question. Do y'all think Barry will not be in a lot of this episode? I think he'll be the afterthought, but he is still in the episode. Do you think we'll get a bunch of Barry?
well, he did find them on the ground unconscious. So,
and I think from the behind the scenes photos, slight spoilers, but he is like there's a shot of Barry in the Flash suit and Nia in the Dreamer suit, I think. So hopefully, I don't know. I need one hero shot with like the 2 of them in their suits, and I'll be a happy camper.
yeah, Gary keeps doing that.
I don't want to put that up on screen. But 3 Doves, thank you so much for hopping on here, talking about Superman, Lois, and Gotham Knights. This was a lot of fun. I will be back tomorrow talking about the Flash and the Dreamer, and we'll have a whole bunch of fun over there talking about the return of our Supergirl megastar. If you guys have not already, go check out 3 Dubs. Links should be linked right down below, his Twitter and his YouTube and all that fun jazz. But yeah, do you have any shout outs or anything you want to make before we go?
I do have a new intro up, so.
Up on your channel?
Yep.
Absolutely. But yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye bye.